Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. How are your weekends? So we got to get through the usual ads and stuff before I get into what I'm working on. So this is Gunforge. This is my 2D goofy fantasy roguelite shooter. It's a pretty typical roguelite shooter. I think it's got a couple of interesting elements like gun building, and it's currently 50% off for the Steam Summer Sale. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. It's a great way to support my work as well as get a fun game out of it. I also have my 2D Survivors style course here, but I have another Udemy course that's in C# and a third one that I'm working on right now, which is an online cooperative multiplayer course in GDScript. So again, these are a great way to support my work, but also it's a great way to kickstart your Godot learning journey because these are very comprehensive. So all of my courses go from starting an empty project to a finished game with sound effects, polish, saving and loading, all that kind of good stuff, all wrapped into one course so that you kind of see the start to end process of building a game. So these are great. There's a great option for those who want to go into a more intermediate course that's a little bit more realistic in terms of, how you put all the pieces together. And hit the notification bell to be notified when that new course goes live. It's very close now, very close. I really don't think it's going to take more than 2 weeks to get it finished and published on Udemy from this point on. So that will be coming out soon. It will be similarly priced to my other courses, so don't worry about that. And I think that's it. So let's get right into it. What I'm going to be doing is I started some refactoring work that I want to continue. I created some clickable that I'm calling them, clickable controls, for the purpose of making these kinds of screens easier for me to work with. So I'm going to be doing that. And hold up a second. Let me check something. I changed my editor theme, and I don't know if this contrast setting is... Oh, I didn't change the contrast, so never mind. Yeah, I was just making sure the contrast doesn't apply to the viewport. For some reason, the art looks darker than it usually does, but I don't think... I think I'm just mistaken. Okay. So yeah, we're going to continue with some refactoring. And before I get into that, though, I'm going to say hello to everyone. Hello, A the Ant. Welcome back. Cool Modder Jaden. Welcome back to you as well. Exio, good to see you. Adam, good to see you as always. Welcome back, everybody. Emerson, hello. How are you doing? I ran out of ADHD meds, so I'm using this to hold me over. Excellent. That's great. Jam entry got 24th out of 272 entries. That's really good. Awesome. Congratulations. Since it was my first jam, my goal is to reach the top 100. I'm very happy. Yeah, that's really good. Awesome work. I bought it just before the sale. Curse you, Magic Man. I'm sorry. But welcome back, Bellato. Hello. Or no, why am I saying hello to you again? Waterbelly. Yes, this is Waterbelly. I still have it written here too, as a little Easter egg. Yes. Schlurgy, hello, welcome. Welcome back, I should say. Prince Raj, love your course. Thank you, appreciate that. And welcome to the stream, good to have you here. Raised Ball, welcome back. Okay, so what are all the events I have going on? Let's do the grow board container. And yeah, this is a control here. How am I actually highlighting this? Oh, I'm not using a shader for this. Wonder if I should just move to using shaders instead. Is there going to be anything wrong with that? Don't think so. Oh, the problem with using an outline shader is I'm going to need to make sure that there's padding. Anyway, this is going to become a clickable control, so I'm going to do this. Clickable control, which I also made it a reference rect type itself. So I can just automatically see that. Move the visuals under there. Oops, that's not right. Okay. I'm screwing everything up. This is 8, 8. Okay. Clickable control. Paste these properties. This goes here. Whoops. Under clickable control. That's 8 and 8. Get rid of this one. Okay, this clickable control now, what should it highlight? Actually, I wonder, hold on a second. Outline. Add margins equals true. Oh, I can add, oh, it adds margins for me. Interesting. So maybe I can just do that. So I'm gonna try that. Let's not use the crystal highlight anymore. Let's just switch to using a shader. I think that's gonna be easier. So this clickable control, outline target, I can assign the crystal here as the outline target. And is that it? I'm not sure if I like this theme yet, but we'll figure it out as we go along. Okay, so now I need to go into the script here, get rid of this. So I am going to need to, okay. Let's get a reference to that. Node private clickable control. Clickable control. Oh, I'm also going to need a clickable. Actually, I don't need to use a clickable coordinator in here. Getter is mouse enabled. Okay, clickable control.is mouse input disabled equals false. Clickable control.is mouse input disabled equals true. Clickable control.hover entered, hover exited, and clicked. Hover entered on hover exited. On clicked. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. Okay. Where's hit? Okay, I think that's it. And then what? I think I can get rid of this crystal highlight now. Let's do that. Okay. Can I just run this? My Mac is back, so this time I'm working on my game too. Excellent. Welcome, Mia. Good to see you. Schlurgy, been getting into Signals since switching to Godot. It's nice not to worry about updating UI every frame and only doing out value changes. Yeah, I think Signals are really powerful. This didn't work. Son of a bee. Oh, I have to add margins here. Oh, okay. When the ables can be clicked, seriously. I had a friend in college who he came up with an alternate name for fish, you know? He called fish angleables, and I thought that was the most hilarious thing. You know, like anglers, how like fishermen are sometimes called anglers or something. So he called the fish angleables, and I thought that was just the funniest thing of all time. I think I laughed for like 10 minutes the first time I heard him say that. I clicked on the video and immediately heard I'm screwing everything up. And if that isn't what game dev is, then IDK what is. Yeah, seriously. Welcome, Austin Rollins. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Still love the fireflies. Yes, I do too. Anglerfish. Yeah, it's kind of like an anglerfish, but it's an angleable. All fish are angleables. So anyway, I thought that was funny. Good morning, Vaughn. Welcome. Welcome back, I should say. I think all this is still working, so that's great. So yeah, it looks like I need to make sure that wherever this outline shader is used, though, it's not breaking. I think I probably should move to an outline shader for all this stuff, honestly. But the problem with the outline shader is that it actually doesn't look totally correct. Diamond, circle, square. What happens if I do square? Okay. Oh yeah, I think that pattern looks better. Okay, so let's go to my visual utilities. I just want to make sure, where is this being called? Outline. Oh. Canvas group outline doesn't need to add margins because the canvas group already adds margins by default, I think. But this probably should be also the pattern of 1. Let's go to the enchant container and just see what that looks like. I think that produces a better outline pattern. Maybe it's actually the pattern that I'm using. Oh, I can't freaking do this. Okay, all right. I think I have enchantments configured for the map though, so I can go in here. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, yeah, that looks great. Very nice. So I guess that's the pattern that I want to use. Cool. All right, so that makes sense. So we'll just gradually transition everything over to using a shader, I think. Now that I have a good utility for doing that. Close all. Okay. Update grow board to use clickable controls. I forgot what other events do I have. The shop is going to be a big one to update, but I'm going to leave that for last. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Oh, of course, Alchemy. How could I forget? Hello, Chisel Tool. Welcome. Why are your messages disappearing, A the Ant? I don't know what's going on. I think my little stream chat thing is buggy sometimes. But A the Ant said Waterbelly took over the map, which is true. I deleted some. Yeah, I think when you delete some, like my chat overlay tool inadvertently deletes some that shouldn't be deleted. It's a little buggy, I guess. But that's okay. That's all right. Okay, do I want to do this? Yeah, this has to become a clickable... Wait. Input container? What in the heck? Okay. Oops, that's wrong. 0 and 9. I think that's right. Okay, this clickable control, what is the... So we've got the pot outline, pot back. Oh, I see. I can use an outline texture when there's multiple pieces to highlight. So in this case, since the pot is multiple pieces, I can't just apply an outline shader to it. I'd have to create a canvas group for it, which I could do, but I want to use canvas groups relatively sparingly because that does create some problems in certain situations. So I think what I might do instead is I'll use the outline shader when I can. I'll use the outline shader when I can, but I think, well, is there a better way to do this? How is this even working? If I do play fade out, visual utilities, fade out, title texture, fade out, and cue free visuals. I got another work message. This, whatever, it's fine. Okay. I don't know if I should be using this fade out and cue free anymore. What do I want to do here? I don't even know. What does this do? Fade out and cue free. Yeah, this creates a canvas group. That's kind of... I don't know if I want to do that. I don't think I want to do that. Don't look up how anglerfish reproduce. Worst mistake of my life. Did you grab that outline shader from somewhere or did you make it? I grabbed it from GodotShaders.com. So yeah, that's a great place to get pre-made shaders. Hello, Parallel Highway. Welcome back. What is love? Okay, I think I should probably move away from this fade out and cue free, honestly. So I should probably try to figure out a better way of doing this. This one is probably going to have to be... This is going to have to be a canvas group. I don't think there's a way around that. So that'll be a canvas group. Then for the pot outline, yeah, I don't think I want to do anything here. I won't use an outline shader for this, so I'll just hide this. So I think I need to add another export to the clickable control. Export, private, canvas, item, visibility, toggle, target. Okay, that's what I'll do. Let's build this. All right, so yeah, so now I can do this. Clickable control, outline target will be empty. Visibility toggle target will be this pot outline. Okay, so now I should be able to go in here. node private clickable control. Clickable control. There we go. Clickable control dot clicked dot hover entered dot hover exited on clicked on hover entered on hover exited. Oh, we need to make a bunch of stuff visible. Okay, maybe I should change this actually. I don't need this. Okay, we'll try this again. So we're going to need to do spoon outline and pot outline, which I don't need references to anymore, so let's get rid of those. Handle pressed, I'm going to say clickable control dot is mouse input disabled equals true. Play in animation. I guess we'll just do this. Shift, why is that not working? Okay, tween.tween callback. So we gotta enable that input and then handle press is mouse input disabled. I'll do it on fade out as well. Clickable control.is mouse input disabled equals true. On card transferred, on clicked, on hover entered. I don't think this is necessary either. Has initiated Alchemy. Do I even need this? Yeah, I do need that still, but I don't need it in those anymore. Okay, so now let's build, and then I can assign the pot outline and the spoon outline to the visibility toggles in here. So clickable control, pot outline, spoon outline. Can I run this by itself? I might have to change all of the map. Oh. Well, that's working, but it's out of position. That's concerning. Let's go to the run map generator now. Assign node types test. This is going to be Alchemy. Let's just see if it works in the normal mode. What the heck? Oh. Is visuals being animated? What's going on here? I don't think I need this. Visual utilities. Await visual utilities. Dot fade out. Visuals. Oh, I guess I still need a reference to those visuals. Oops. Why is that not correct? Play in animation. Why is that not working? This is 0, 0 here. Am I animating anything else? Why is this breaking? I don't understand. I don't understand. Hello, Cass. Welcome back. Gonna go getting a headache. That's okay at the end. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you again soon. Good morning, Real Cruda. What are you working on refactoring today? Just updating all of my scenes here to use some of the new scripts that I've written for handling input and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and just rework all those stuff. It shouldn't take that long. And if we have some time, we'll be able to do something fun, hopefully. Working on an Azure pipeline refactor myself. So much fun. Waiting 10 minutes for a build to get an error that should use single quotes instead of double. Skill issue, I know. This might be a good application of AI. Assuming that the pipeline is code. If the pipeline is like configured through some GUI, then I guess that wouldn't work. But if I were to be working on DevOps stuff with like GitHub Actions or Terraform or anything, I would just have the AI help me. At the very least, it would help reduce the number of iterations you need to do, right? Because it is like very painful to do those pipelines because you have to edit like a couple things and then wait for the pipeline to execute to see if it works correctly. And you could probably get around or detect some of those early errors if you have the AI review it for you first. So that's what I would do anyway. If I was tasked with setting up a new GitHub like deployment pipeline, I'd have the AI write most of it, and I'd just make sure to put all the pieces that I need individually in place. Hello, Kzori, welcome. Fat Kid Games, welcome back. People always complain about HTML, CSS, but the browser does so much render stuff for us. Funny to see that in game dev, it's such an awkward thing. Yeah. No, I like HTML, CSS, I really do. Battlefield uses HTML, CSS for the UI. I really do think that you can't get a better UI design framework than HTML and CSS. You really can't. I mean, you get the like super flexible styling, right? It's a pretty well set in stone standard, so it's predictable, and there's tons of resources available for it. I wish all games could have their UIs done in HTML, CSS. That would be nice, but oh well. It's code, but sadly it's too complex for AI still, but I'm using it for linting indeed. But at work we don't have an IDE AI yet. Gotcha. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Happy Monday to you as well, Ariane. Happy Monday to you as well. Why is that happening? I don't understand. Let's look at the remote scene tree, I guess. Why is this not working? Oh, is there something wrong with the clickable control? Why would that not be working? I am now very confused. This is animating the local position. So for some reason, hold on a second. Did I figure it out? I'm not using this visuals anywhere. Yeah. What in the heck is going on? Okay, so we've identified the problem. This position of this visuals here is 0, 9. But in the editor, or in the local scene tree, it's 38, 47. Why on earth would that be changing? Why on earth would that be changing? I'm not setting the visuals position anywhere. Am I? I'm not crazy, am I? Find all references. It's only used in 2 places. Both of those places, well, this is the definition, and this is just a fade out. Visuals position root is here. Something is funky here. I wonder. Let's see. Oh. There's an animation player affecting it. What in the heck? Why is that animating? Sub-resource type animation. Animation this. It's a reset animation. Interesting. And that is on what? Animation library. Pot animation player. So it's thinking that pot animation player has a track. Oh, that's a bug, huh? It thinks there's a reset track in here for the clickable control. Oh, wait. No, it's just the visuals. Never mind, I was reading that wrong. It's just the visuals. Reload from disk. Oops. This position here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't need that to be in there. Okay. Oh, it's shaking the visual. Why is it doing that? Okay, anyway, what did I say this was? 38. Was it 3847? It was. So that needs to be changed there. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing the animation in that way, but I don't know why I would do the animation like that. I'm sure there's a good reason for it, but I did something wrong. Okay. Goodness gracious. That would make sense, though. Okay. I'm a little slow today, apologies. I had a very exhausting day yesterday. Okay, everything appears to be working just fine. Okay, wow. Wow, indeed. Just make sure the skip still works. Oh, and I can still click the Alchemy. So when skip happens, I need to disable the input. So I think skip event button dot skipped plus equals on skipped. I need to disable, yeah, I need to disable the clickables. Private void on skipped. I also need to add a lock. So this dot get board manager dot add Really? Is there anything related to locking in here? Board dot add drag locks. Nope. Board inventory component dot add drag locks. Where in the heck is the drag lock? Drag lock. Add drag lock. Oh, it's in the card events manager. Oh, I see. Okay. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. All right. On skipped, add drag locks for board. Clickable control. Is mouse input disabled equals true. I think I might need to do that for the enchant container too. I don't think I'm... Yeah. Skip event button dot... Actually, maybe I don't need to do that. What am I doing? I don't even know. Enchant container. Oh, the enchant event state machine. Actually, that's not going to work either. So I'll keep that in there, but I think I do need to add a... Yeah. Anytime the skip event button is in place, I need to connect to it. Private void on skipped. I just need to make sure that I can't do anything. Clickable coordinator, disable mouse input, add drag locks for board. So anytime I'm using the skip, I need to do that. Okay. I think that'll work. Okay, let's just see if that works. Hello, Cat Hugger. Welcome. I'm going to make some character arts today as well. Very nice. I had to go back to sleep earlier. My head was just so tired from thinking. Yeah, true. That does happen. That does indeed happen. I made 30 years old yesterday, but when I grow up, I want to be like you. Very nice. 30 years old, gang. I'm also 30 years old, so there you go. Feels weird to be 30 years old, let me tell you what. Hello. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. A question that I'm beginner for making a game, and I only know a little bit about Java. Is using C++ more useful than GDScript? For Godot development specifically, no. I mean, you could just use GDScript. That's fine. I guess it wouldn't hurt to know C++, but I don't do any work in C++ ever for anything. So I don't think it's a necessary requirement to being able to make a game, especially in Godot. Good morning, Chris. I'm 31. Yeah. My oldest turned 18 yesterday. Oh, I bet that feels weird. 32 here. Yeah. We're youngins compared to you, I guess. So now I can, for the first time, say one of my kids has grown. Craziness. Yeah, that is very... I can't even imagine what an odd feeling that is. My oldest is 8, and I honestly sat and just said, where'd that time go? Yeah. 37. Yep, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm at that age right now where I can say, 5 years? Where did that time... You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's been 5 years since, you know, X thing happened. It's just one of those things, you know? Okay. Now the last thing that I want to do is... Did I remove that queue free? Okay. So my goal is to get rid of this visual utilities fade out and queue free, if possible. Although I guess that's still going to be useful. Oh, the grow board container. Okay, I might have to go back to the grow board container really quick. Okay, tweaks to Alchemy. Or let's do refactor Alchemy to use clickable control. Let's change this type to a canvas group, I guess. Yeah, I want to get rid of this fade out and queue free where possible. Just do that. I think I can just test this locally, so I don't need to make this a big deal. I guess I can't test it locally. Let's go ahead and do run map generator. Assign node types test. Grow board. My princess is 8. She's a jerk, though. Oh, that's funny. The question is, how can all these grown-ups be in chat when they need to be at work? That's true. Well, some of us don't have real jobs. She also completely owns me. You got me there, Cass. Yeah. I'm in the UK. Let's just say, what is a job like last time? Okay, that still works. Okay, we're good. Slight change to fade out for grow board. Okay, What's the next one we need to do? I think we need to go ahead and do upgrade container. This might be where I get into a little bit of trouble with respect to the fade out. Does the card use a canvas group at all? I don't think so. Yeah, there's no canvas group in here, so that's fine actually. Ooh, that's fine actually. So the card upgrade container, well, okay, we gotta change all this stuff. So there's probably gonna be some similar issues in here. Okay. So this input container, 92 by 50. And that's 0 and 9. Add child node, clickable control. What did I say this was? 92 by 50? Oh, this is going to have to be 92 divided by 2. 25 plus 9. There we go. Okay, we can get rid of this input container now. Clickable control is going to change the highlighting. So we've got the visibility toggle targets. We're going to need hammer highlight in there, as well as anvil highlight. We're going to change this to a canvas group. Okay. Now we can go in here. This input container needs to go away. All those things need to go away, basically. Okay. This is going to become... Oh, I need to create a reference. Clickable control. On clicked. On hover entered. On hover exited. Clicked. Hover entered. Hover exited. Clickable control dot is mouse input disabled equals true. Okay, all the way down here. We actually don't need to listen for any of these things, so we can get rid of that. I actually don't need to listen for those signals. That's great. On clicked, this doesn't need an event anymore. Handle pressed. We don't need to do that. Clickable control dot is mouse input disabled equals true. Play in animation. Tween dot tween callback. Okay, we'll enable that. Handle pressed. Okay, and then play out. Oh, do I need to skip event too? I'm going to need to do the skip event. Let's do that right now. Skip event button dot skipped. Board dot add drag, or no. This dot get card mouse events manager add drag locks for board. Is that the only place that that's happening? Interesting. Was that a bug before? Oh my, I'm gonna have to try that. Okay, and anyway, play fade out, clickable control dot is mouse input disabled equals true. And this is going to be just fade out here. Alrighty, generally improving things, but I'm going to need to go to my run map generator and change this to upgrade card. Let's go ahead and try this out. I work from home and like to listen to streams like this one while I work. Helps me keep in the programming mood. Yeah, that's cool. Welcome back to Ninja Link, by the way. C#, not C++, right? I'm a little bit confusing about the two names. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah. So if you're asking what the difference, or like whether you should use C# or GDScript for Godot, yeah, I would just use whatever you're familiar with. If you are familiar with Java, then you'll probably have an easier time adjusting to C#, or maybe not easier time adjusting, but you might feel a little bit better with C# because it has a similar type system and all that stuff. Whereas GDScript is an interpreted language. I think it's an interpreted language. Maybe that's not technically true, but it's got like dynamic typing. You don't have to use the static typing with GDScript, and you also don't get things like abstract classes or interfaces or anything like that. But you can absolutely use either one to make a game. So yeah. C++ is the same thing as C++. Yes, yeah. It's a very nice anvil. I've been trying to draw a forge, and honestly, sometimes good, sometimes bad. It's difficult. It's difficult. There are some things that you just don't think would be that difficult to draw, but they are. Okay, on skip. Why did that not work? Did I not do this correctly? Oh, right. Oh, this needs to be true. That's why that's breaking. Okay, let's try that again. So it looks like if I put two cards on the board, and shoot, I don't have two of the same card. Oh, I should respond to this message. Okay, so put the spiderling in there, do this. Why is it that I can't... Add placement lock. Oh. What is the difference between a placement lock and a drag lock? So I guess a drag lock means that I can't... Okay. So I need to do a placement lock and a drag lock on skip. So the drag locks are being added to every card on the board. Right, okay. So I actually don't need that there. What was the other one I was doing? Enchant. On skip, this needs to be a placement lock instead. I'm gradually figuring out the code that I wrote. Right, so either when it's skipped or when it's finished, it needs to have the placement lock added. Okay, that makes sense. So what did I edit so far? I did the Alchemy container, update grow board. That doesn't need a placement lock. Enchant. Okay, I think we're okay. Goodness gracious, there's a lot of state to manage here. That's okay though. Alchemy container. Is mouse input disabled? Drag locks for board should happen when I do a fade out. That should actually probably happen. Yeah. I think I need to add drag locks for board in here instead. Oh, this is a nightmare. I need a better way of managing this state. That's okay though. So I think it's just Alchemy and this card upgrade that I need to do for both of those. So emit signal upgrade finished. Drag lock. I'm basically just, I want to make sure that players can't like sneak in, removing extra stuff from the board while it's going through its transition. Board.add placement lock here. Okay, that makes sense. I'm sure I'm leaving a gap in here in some logic. Some player's gonna have like super quick reflexes and be able to steal a card from a board that they shouldn't be able to, but that's fine. What program do you use to draw your art? Ace-Bright, Summer Dreamer, and welcome to the stream. Hey, I'm listening. I'm 25 and working. Lamau, God bless the home office. Seriously. C++ is the same as... I'm gonna not say that for YouTube purposes, but that's funny. That was very funny. Currently working on GDScript, but there's so many people using C#. I'm thinking about, do I need to change to C#? Yeah, I mean, that's a decision you'll have to make for yourself. If you're doing fine in GDScript, I would say there's no reason to change, but if you feel like you're going to be more productive with C#, then go for it. Yeah, that's right, Adam. Yeah, I think that's good. Do you protect your games from decompilation because with Godot games it's child's play? No, I don't. No, I don't really care that much if people decompile it. I mean, the best you can do is you can just like make it slightly more difficult to decompile. But the end of the day, anything that ends up on a client machine is not secure, right? GDScript is closer to Python. Yes. In my opinion, C# and Godot is a little tougher for a newbie because a lot of the tutorials are specific to GDScript. Yes, that's true too. You're welcome. You are welcome. GDScript is easier in general. You don't have to care about the variable type and publicity of it. True. That's true too. Do you tend to use state stores with observable pattern, or do you work with things storing their own local state more? There was a period of time where I was doing something with like an observable pattern. I actually made a video about this a while ago where I was like trying to replicate sort of like Redux, like React Redux in C# specifically for Godot games. So I could change state and then just listen to that state change wherever I wanted to. But I moved away from that. I think it's easier just to manage the local state as much as possible. And then anything that needs to be observable just gets emitted as a signal from that class. I just generally think that that's a better approach for me personally. But if I was making a different kind of game where the game would be too complex to have like a global signal manager, but also too complex to manage state purely locally, then I might do something like that, where I have like a third thing that's like a state reducer or something that can just like do certain actions on state change and also emit when state changes. But yeah. I could definitely see that pattern being useful for certain types of games. Okay, trying to break this as much as possible. Okay. Let's see if I can be super quick on the draw here. Oh, I don't have another card to upgrade. Whatever. I'm going to say that it's good. Okay. Commit that. Sync that out. We are getting there. We are getting there. We are getting there. What other events do I have to do here? So we did Alchemy. We did Artifact. Booster. Oh, that's going to be a tough one. Card upgrade. This is an empty folder. We'll delete that. Oh, the health option. I'm going to redo the health option anyway, so I'm just going to leave that alone for now. Resurrection, that needs a lot of work. Okay, I think that's basically it, actually. So the last thing that I need to do is... Well, I need to do the shop. I need to do two more things. The booster selection and the shop. This is going to be a nightmare, I think. This is one of the first scenes that I made. For the events. I think I could use just the outline shader though, honestly. If I got rid of this headstone outline and this grave outline and this shovel outline, and then I did this. Sprite root. Oh, this already has, yeah, I don't need that there because I have utilities now for that. Canvas group outline material. Put that there. Whoops, put that there. Yeah, that's going to look a lot better. It looks bad in the editor, but yeah, I think that'll work better. Okay. So I actually don't need that. So maybe this will be easier than I thought. I don't know why this visuals is here. That makes me kind of nervous, I suppose. So I'm going to need to edit the booster and also the booster container here. Oh, maybe not, actually. Oh, maybe I don't. This actually doesn't have any quote-unquote clickable elements. This is just a board. So really, I just need to update this. So the booster contain... Okay, right. So I think what needs to become the clickable element is this root node here. Do I want to make this a root of clickable? I think so. Change type. Clickable control. Okay, that appears not to have broken anything, so that's good. Okay, we'll go into the script and we'll edit a bunch of stuff now. We don't need the headstone outline. I'm going to delete those things, actually. I wonder if I deleted them from the other places where I'm not using them anymore. Shoot. I think the grow board. Yeah, I'm not using the highlight anymore, right? I'm not using that. Let's see. I removed the crystal highlight from there. No, I think I'm okay, actually. I'm still using the highlights in the other scenes. I just removed it from the crystal. Okay. We are good. So I got to edit this script. I initially started using Unity development with UniRX in C#, which aims to replicate a single state store like Redux. It was terrible. Now I split into global state managers. Yeah, that's probably the better approach, honestly. I don't even like Redux that much, to be honest. Like, I get the point of Redux, I guess, but with modern React especially, I would just rather use a provider. You can write your own custom provider. You can isolate, you know, whatever semi-global state in that provider, as well as do any like of your use effects or whatever. I don't really, honestly, I don't really see the point of Redux. But, you know. Hello, New Hazel. Welcome. Good to see you. Beautiful graves. When did you make the headstones dark? When did Kinyaz finally win? Well, it is true that the gravestones were following a different style than what I've settled on since I drew those, because those were like the first things that I did. But as the style developed for this game and I started doing the darker, like 3-color dark style for the events, I had to go back and make the gravestones consistent for sure. Zustand is a really great one for that. Isn't Redux at its core piggybacking the provider's context anyway? I'm not actually honestly sure how the internals of Redux work. Redux has been around for a while, so before providers were a thing in React, I think. But it's possible that the new versions of Redux are using that provider API. Then you don't have performance issues with providers, that if something changes in the provider, all children will re-render. Yes, that is true. That is true. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I get back, we're going to continue with this refactoring work, and maybe if we have time, we can do another card or something, but we'll see. In the meantime, please check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways you can support my work. Hit that notification bell. I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. Welcome back to me. Hello, Rookie Tookie. Good to see you again. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm a little tired today. Had a very busy weekend. But that's okay. We don't need this grave outline either. We don't need this shovel outline either. This is now a clickable control. Like so. We don't need clicked in here. Okay. This needs to be hover entered. On hover entered. Hover exited. I don't know what's happening in here. Okay, we'll just try it. is mouse input disabled equals true. Play in animation is mouse input disabled equals false. Oh shoot. Why am I doing this? I might rebuild this to some extent. Instantiate a child node booster. Where is this even being added? What the heck is going on? All right, there's someone right outside my door who's gonna start making a bunch of noise, I'm sure. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Let's see. Now combine many things into one scene. How do you tell which things need to be separated into separate scenes? Yeah, that's a good question. That's largely just it's going to be largely a judgment call. I would say that there's not a whole lot of good like rules around that. I think obviously if you're going to reuse a chunk of the scene tree a bunch of times, then that's a good indicator that it needs to be its own scene. I mean, that would be the main thing, right? Is like if you're going to reuse something a bunch of times across either different contexts, or in the case of this booster container, like these booster scenes here are only used in the context of this booster container, but there's 3 of them, right? And so obviously I don't want to duplicate that scene tree structure 3 times. So that's a good situation to do it. But generally speaking, when I'm doing a UI, if there are elements that I'm building of the UI that aren't reusable, I don't really see a whole lot of value in splitting them out into separate scenes. So if you look at my game UI scene here, and can I just expand everything? How do I expand everything? Expand, collapse branch. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And you might be tempted to say, well, okay, I'm going to split this out to a separate scene, right? And save that branch as a scene. But the problem is, like, this is never going to be used anywhere other than this game UI, and I don't have multiple of them. So even though I have sort of like a deep level of nesting here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to say this should be a separate scene. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is the only place it exists. I can just write whatever code I need to write in the game UI. And you know, it would be kind of overkill to split that into a separate scene. You kind of, there's a problem with making a bunch of scenes for things, and that is like, you don't want to make your scene structure so fragmented that it's hard to find the thing that you're looking for. You don't want to make it so detailed and so granular that you need to click through like 5 different scenes just to find the button that you're looking for, right? It's a balance between like, when does it make sense to logically separate out a separate scene, and when does it make sense to keep it all together, even though you might have a deep level of nesting or you might have a lot of nodes, right? So anyway, I know that's not a super helpful answer, but it's one of those things where as you work with the engine, you're going to get more comfortable with making those kinds of decisions, I think. And you're just going to, with experience, you're going to be able to more easily intuit when something needs to be split out and when it can stay as a whole scene. I don't know what the heck is going on here. Oh, I do know what's going on. Okay. So yeah, these boosters are just created. Set booster affinities. Yeah, I don't need these to be. I'm going to add a clickable coordinator here. I don't need these to be created at the beginning, I don't think. Oh, shoot. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to change this back to a... do I want to do that? going to change this back to a VBox container the way that it was. This is going to be so broken. Go to my booster container here. I'm going to add clickable controls here. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay. Oops. Yeah, there's no reason for me to create these at runtime. I can just create them here. I'm sure I'm going to come up with all kinds of problems here, but that's all right. It's a clickable coordinator now. Okay, there we go. So this is going to be a little bit... What the heck is going on? Oh, there's tree service, guys. Trimming my neighbor's tree branches. Cool, I'm gonna have to listen to that for like 3 hours now. It's okay, it's all right, it's fine. Hello, Artem, welcome back. It's game dev time once again. Yes, indeed. Hello, Zarkanux. I found your architecture-related videos very informative, coming from a web dev background. Have a nice day. Thank you, appreciate that, and welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Good to see you. Your Godot UI looks a bit different. It has a slight roundness on the tab. Scene tree is different, like lighter. So yeah, there's a theme called Godot Minimal Theme. So I'm giving that a try, seeing if I like it. I've spent so long making dirt blocks, everything is starting to look like dirt. That's funny. I used to think my code had to be amazing, but then I saw the code of Buckshot Roulette, and dang, that guy made it such a mess. It works though. Yeah, that's a very common thing in game dev. It's like these hyper successful games will, like, you'll see under the hood and it's like just an absolute mess. It just gives software engineers conniptions. But you know, at the end of the day, the player is not going to see the underlying code, right? And if you're a solo developer, you're the only one that has to deal with the quality of your code. So if you're fine with a little bit of mess and it works, and your primary concern is selling it to players, then more power to you, you know? I like to make my code as maintainable and readable as possible because it just makes my life easier. I definitely wouldn't take it as like a green light to go ahead and write your code as messily as possible. But, you know, sometimes you don't want to mess with something, you don't want to refactor something, or sometimes you don't have the skill to refactor something to a better system. And so you just make do with what you have, and there's no problem with that. Really helped me a lot. I was afraid of mixing so many scenes together would cause some problems, but that I couldn't sort out. Yeah, I would say don't worry about breaking up scenes until you have a clear need for it. Yeah, for sure. I have a weird thing with monoliths right now. All seem to draw is random monoliths. Nice. It's a big file tree. Oh, this one? Yeah. There's a lot going on. Another artifact idea, Spider's Verse. When a spider minion you control attacks, it does X more damage. If an enemy has a spider, they exhaust or possibly are added to the player board. That is an interesting one, yeah. You want to look at code? Look at Terraria code. Heard it here, folks. Spaghetti code is the way to go. No! 30k lines of code in one script, yeah. You know, who am I to judge? The good thing is that's what I've practiced the most, the spaghetti code, yeah. I read Stardew Valley's character code and shuddered, yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I do think that it's... I don't know. Maybe it's not true what I was going to say. You know what code I bet is like phenomenally written? Factorio. I bet you Factorio's code is phenomenally written because I've read a couple of their dev blogs about how they do some systems in their game, and it's very clear that there are some like heavy-duty engineers working on Factorio, which makes sense because I don't know if you'd be able to get away with the, you know, the Undertale style scripting with a game like Factorio, which is so complex, you know. node private booster 1. Oh, so let me know if you can hear the machines outside. I might have to end the stream early if it's too loud. Two, three. Do you write your own shaders? Where did you learn to do that? Some of the shaders I've written are my own, and some of them are from GodotShaders.com. But where did I learn to do it? That is a good question. I don't think I necessarily like sat down and learned them. I think just like regular exposure to shaders over a period of time gave me enough information that I needed to know to create my own very basic shaders, but I'm certainly not able to create like hyper complex shaders at all. That is way beyond my skill level as it exists currently. Okay. Ah, shoot. I'm gonna need to get a reference to these boosters too. Booster 1. Booster 2. Okay. Clickable controls. I.clicked. Oh, I'm gonna need to get a reference to the booster here. Actually, do I need to do that? Let's just pass in the index. Var index equals I. Index. Int index. Okay. Boosters I.selected. What is the difference here between selected? I don't even know. I'm just messing this all up. On booster clicked. Child.disable input. Get children of type booster. What the heck, man? What is going on? Okay, I have a lot. This scene is just completely antithetical to how I've done all these other scenes, so there's quite a bit to do here. Index. Okay. We're gonna get rid of enabled input because I have a clickable coordinator now. Okay, so in here, clickable coordinator dot enable mouse input, and then in ready, clickable coordinator disable mouse input. Okay. On booster clicked. So now the problem is that, ooh, I'm going to need to probably change this. Oh, well, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Actually, you know what? I am going to do this. Well, this is a mess. Okay, the good news is I think that this is good to go. So now I just need to change the booster in here. How am I going to do this? It's weird because there's this text control here, which I don't want to be affected by the canvas group at all. If I make this a canvas group, that is. I'm gonna have to think about this. It's hard to think when there's machines whirring constantly right outside my window. I'm new to Godot and I'm wondering if you have any advice on how signals are being cached when you have a big project. To me, it feels like a huge problem, but I'm very, very new. Yeah, so you're wondering how you can trace signals through the code base, or... Well, first, with signals... Let me think. How do I want to say this? Let me think. Yeah, so I think the answer to this problem, anytime you have a big project, the answer to like how do you manage things is to try to keep it as modular and isolated as possible. So in an ideal situation, you create a scene or a script that has custom signals, right? And you're going to want those signals to only be handled ideally by like a handful of things that are related to the thing emitting the signal, if that makes sense. So like in this case, right? This booster container, these clickable controls emit signals. Those are only being handled within this booster container. Nothing about any signals ever leaves this scene, except the booster container has a signal here that says selected, which basically tells me when this booster event is done, right? So I've got a bunch of signals being emitted all in here that are being handled within that context, within that scene context, right? So there are a bunch of custom signals flying around, but it's all manageable because it's just being handled in this like isolated area, right? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that if you do need global signals, I think having a global like signal manager is a good idea. Like I have game events here. So there's this game events node, and this has a couple of quote unquote global signals that any node can listen for. And this is good for tracking things that need to be known across the game. So in my game, it's a turn-based auto battler thing. And so, yeah, there's all kinds of places in the game that need to know when the combat has started. And so instead of trying to tie a bunch of signals through the system to get that combat started event to all the different places that it needs to be, it instead goes up to this auto load node with this emit combat started. This auto load node emits a signal from itself that combat has started, and then I can connect to that from anywhere in the game because it's an auto load node and I know where the auto load is in the tree, right? So I think those are the two things that I would say with respect to like managing signals. I think when you find yourself like forwarding a signal through like 3 or more different levels of code, that's probably an indicator that you either need to hoist the signal to a common ancestor or do something like the game events here, where you have global signals, and you can create multiple global signal nodes as well. You could have like one that's related to combat events and one that's related to, I don't know, dialogue events or something. You know what I mean? They use C++ for Lua and scripting and modding. Oh, is that Terraria or Stardew Valley? I don't remember. Can't hear any machines? That's good. That's good. There's a sound, it's only when the mic is active and the music helps mask it. That's good, okay, good. As someone who's tried to make a game like Factorio, very much takes a certain level of code quality to be viable. Yeah, that's what I had assumed, for sure. Is there a reason you prefer to have the words for numbers instead of the digits? I just don't like using numbers in my variable names. It's just a personal quirk I have. Yeah, it's just a preference. Yeah, you can use numbers and variable names. I just don't like to do that. I like to have my variables read in as plain English, and I don't abbreviate anything either. Well, I guess that's not true. Like, I'll abbreviate some things in very specific situations, but generally speaking, I don't use any forms of shorthand for my variable names. Another artifact idea: Necromancer's Dumbbell. Every enemy skeleton minions have a chance to pause their action when it's charging. The enemies that are charging up to attack. Okay, that's an interesting one. The problem, though, is that... So, the enemy faction in this game is going to be like villagers, so there are going to be no skeletons. That said, I could definitely have something that's thematically the same that can, like, reduce... Oh, that's a good one. You have an artifact that just increases the turn count of enemy minions. That would be a good one. That's a great idea. Let me write that down. So I'm kind of remixing your idea there, Jackie Daytona. Artifact idea. Here we go. I don't know what the theme of it would be. I'm thinking of something like oppressive. I don't know, but... Okay. Good idea. I was wondering, how do you come up with names for things, mainly for content like cards, as well as for the game itself? I really struggle and take way too long with it myself. Are you talking about, like, from a technical standpoint, or like names for the creative aspects of things? Generally speaking, I would just say, like, if you're coming up with, trying to come up with technical names, use, 2 or 3 words or 4 words and just be descriptive, right? Like, you can be very literal with your naming. Like, for instance, like, this board configuration model. It's like, what is it? Well, it's a model of the board configuration, right? It's like, I don't need to be creative with the names. Let me think. Yeah, this one, enemy board configuration manager. What does that do? Well, it manages the enemy board configurations, right? Let's see another one. Do I have a longer name in here? Let's see. Well, I think you get the point. You can just be very literal with your names and very descriptive. Trying to find if I have anything else. Oh, here's a good one. Execution context with state. Where was that? Execution context with state. What is this? Well, it's an execution context that has some additional state, So it's just very literal. Okay, you mean creative names, and I mean, yeah. I think that, well, it helps if you have a theme in mind. So like the theme of this game is necromancy, medieval science, and alchemy, right? And so I have 3 different themes to draw from for names. And a lot of times too, I will just go and look at inspiration first before I think of the name. So for instance, I have an item called an orbitoclast, and it deals damage to yourself. But what I started with is like, oh, I want to do something that's lobotomy related. And I found out that there's a tool that was used in lobotomies called an orbitoclast. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just call it that, and I'll draw that, and there you go. There's my lobotomy themed thing that does damage to the player, right? What else? I mean, I think the themes that I've chosen are actually very easy to come up with things for. Like, there's all kinds of, like, your mind goes in all kinds of different directions when you've got, like, necromancer. You've got, like, bones and rituals and altars and sigils and, like, all kinds of stuff, right? But then in alchemy, you've got, like, scales and gold and plague masks and bugs and rats and, like, all that kind of stuff, right? And then, what's the other one? Like, medieval science, right? You can just look at Renaissance art basically and see all these different ways of depicting the heavens and all this stuff, right? So I would say that the themes that I've chosen, because there's 3 of them all mixed together, they're very easy to draw inspiration from, and then I can just draw names from that pool of inspiration, if that makes sense. I don't use Godot signals if it's only my C# class talking to another one of my C# classes. Yeah, I think, if you want to use an observer pattern for pure C# classes, you can use the event system. I just don't want to mix 2 different observer patterns into my game, because that's what signals essentially are. And the reason is because I want predictability about when things change. And I'm worried that, well, I guess I shouldn't be worried, but like, I'm worried that's going to create some confusion about the order of operations or something. But I actually don't think that's the case, so maybe that's not a valid concern. But yeah, if you're doing pure C# class to pure C# class, I think it's a good thing to use events for sure. You're welcome, Ignacio. You're welcome. Another artifact idea, Experienced Digger. You have a higher chance to find upgraded minions during the minion pick event. Ooh, that's a good one. Yorick. Like a last poor Yorick. Or from League of Legends. Maybe like the weight of battle, the reality of battle causes enemies to hesitate by X turns. Yeah, that's an interesting idea for sure. I like where you're going with that. What am I doing? What am I doing? That goes away. This is just a VBox container again. Yeah. I don't like that. I can make that public though, I guess. That can go away. This can go away. Show shovel equals true. Okay, so booster container. Oh shoot, I have to go soon. I wish I could see the sub children in here. I wish I could reach into this scene and target a child. Shoot. I might just need to manually handle this. This is kind of an interesting case. This is kind of an interesting case. So what I might do is... Do I have a sprite root? Yeah, I've got the sprite root here. So what I might do is I might do this. Visual utilities dot outline. So if show highlight visual utilities dot outline sprite root else sprite root dot material is equal to null. I can make this public, and in here in this booster container I'm going to need to hook into that clickable control hover entered in here. Clickable controls I dot hover entered plus equals on hover entered index hover exited private void on hover entered int index private void on hover exited int index. Okay, that might be the way that I have to do it. So I'm not actually going to configure anything through the clickables here in terms of being able to highlight things. I'll just leave those empty because I can still listen for those signals. I have no clue if this is going to work. Do I even have a test? Oh, I don't even have anything set up here. If this dot is current scene, set booster affinities, card tag dot minion. What? You're useless. Why is this awaited? Oh, I don't care about that. Failed to build project. Oh, right. On clicked. Oh, shoot. This is input disabled. Doesn't need to be here anymore. None of these need to be here. And actually, this can be ignore now. Oh, it is ignore. Okay. On mouse exited, on mouse entered. I don't need that anymore. This needs to become clickable coordinator.disable mouse input. All right, let's see if this works. Here we go. I'm breaking all kinds of things. I've got the combination of pirates and mining for my game. Hopefully they'll work nicely together and make me not sit staring at the screen for 5 hours every time I need to name something. Yeah, it sounds like you should be able to come up with some good names for that one. But I don't know, maybe not. It could be harder than it sounds. Position is equal to vector 2.0, vector 2.right. Let's just do vector 2.right times visual utilities dot get window width. Yeah, that'll work. Get window width minus 64. Okay. Do you conduct playtesting for your games? If so, how did you get enough playtesting to feel confident about Gunforged? I did not do a whole lot of playtesting for Gunforged, admittedly. So that's a good question. But yeah, I am going to do a lot of playtesting for this game, and I think as far as knowing when it's done, I think that's like the $1 million question, almost literally, right? Because you don't want to just work on the game forever, because there's always more that can be added to it. But you also don't want to release it before all the most critical things have been added or adjusted. So I think, yeah, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out myself. Like, when do you have enough playtesting? So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Donna, maybe because your character is a necromancer, you complete the game, your character could turn into a lich. Then an enemy, possibly a minion for your next necromancer. That's a good idea. Yeah, having like this roster of necromancers that you can beat the game with, and then they like ascend or something. That is very interesting. Okay, so it's kind of working. It's not fading out any of the other things. Why is that not happening? Oh. Okay. So this needs to be for each var booster in boosters. Oh, let's call this other booster, I guess. Okay, that should work. Let's see if it works. Okay, now the shovel needs to be force shown. Play travel animation. I'm just going to do show shovel here. What is this update highlight being called? I'm just gonna force the shovel to be visible. Why wouldn't I just do that? This is, like I said, this is the first event that I wrote for this game, so I was kind of just making stuff up, you know? Oh, the shovel probably doesn't need to be blue either. Okay, anyway, let's see. Run manager or run map generator. So in here, we're gonna make this booster. Okay, let's see what it looks like in game. I'm kind of worried that this is not gonna work, but let's see. Oh, those are not faded out properly. Although, I think what I could do... Z index equals -1. I'll put it behind everything. Will that work? Nope. Oh, I put it in the wrong one. Fade out Z index needs to be there. Is that going to work, or is that going to screw everything up? And make sure I can't click anywhere else. Okay. That appears to be working. Still working good with all of those changes in place now. Very nice. Sell that. Cool. I think it's working. I think it's working good. There's still some stuff that needs to be done for that one. Like it doesn't have an out animation. But I think that's okay. Now, is there anything in here that I can delete? Oh, I don't need this resource preloader anymore, I don't think. Resource preloader. Yeah, I don't need that. So I can delete this resource preloader. Delete. Goodbye. Very nice. And then in the booster here, is this where it's got the board? Where is it creating that board? Booster. Card selection container. Where's this? Oh, it's in the game UI. Interesting. I wonder why that's there. Interesting. Booster card selection container. Well, whatever. Cool. All right, so update boosters to use clickable elements. The only thing I think Godot is missing is live scene manipulation while playing. I know it exists, but I think Unity handles it better. Yeah, that's true. Hello, Dragon Apple. Welcome, welcome. Wild Frost has that mechanic where your successful run gets powered up and becomes the next boss. Interesting. What inspired the refactor? So I came up with this new set of tools for making, when I did the artifact scene, for making selecting things easier. Because I'm not using like traditional buttons, but I have some pretty common requirements, like I need to be able to detect mouse enter, mouse exit, and I also need to be able to highlight or show certain things on mouse enter, and I need to be able to disable the ability to select things. But also fixing an issue too where, you know, if you typically in Godot, if you have your mouse over a control node that, let's say, has mouse input ignore, but then you switch the control node to have mouse input stop, if your mouse is already at the spot that overlaps with the control, it won't detect a mouse entered event. And so if I write my own implementation, or not implementation exactly, but write my own node that can handle all that stuff for me, I can also do a detection that when the input gets re-enabled, I can check, okay, is the mouse inside of the rectangle when it gets re-enabled? And if so, I can just trigger the on hover entered right there. So it's a little bit of a frictionless experience, or a less frictionful experience with regards to input. So Anyway, so I'm just making all my scenes consistent and using that now. You could take your strongest minion or minions, alchemize them, and that's your lich minion. I would love to add a lich minion for sure. That's an interesting concept. If you could power up the lich minion in a different way. That looks extremely clean, thank you. Wild Frost is so hard to get through ending, true ending. I have actually never heard of Wild Frost, I should look it up. Hello, Rin, welcome back, always good to see you. I love how that animation looks so satisfying. Thank you, Mia, I appreciate that, thank you, thank you. Okay, I have a meeting in 20 minutes that I need to get to, so I'm gonna end the stream there. But thank you everyone for watching, thank you all for being here, I very much appreciate that. And again, if you want to, you can check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways that you can support my work. Any and all support is greatly appreciated, even if you just do something simple like liking the video or subscribing to the channel. That's a huge way to help me as well, and it doesn't cost you anything. So thank you everyone for watching, and again, I will hope to see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be probably refactoring the shop as the last one I need to do, and then making some more cards or something fun. So that's what we'll do. Okay, bye-bye everyone. See you tomorrow.